This has definitely been the most expensive review I've ever done. As some of my friends and family know, and I spoke about a couple of times before, December the 3rd, 2014, I went in for laser eye surgery. The surgery I opted for was called PRK, which is basically Lasik, but instead of cutting the little flap off of your eyeball and laying it back, doing the laser, putting it back and letting it heal, they cut the flap off entirely. And what this does is if you do contact sports such as mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu, karate, get punched in the face, that guarantees there will never be even a flap to come off. I opted for that because I've done a lot of martial arts in the past. I intend to do more in the future. And this is basically a review of the entire process. Had a 10:30 appointment. I went in about 10:50. They took me in and did one last check. I had to take a pre-surgery eye exam about a week before. No, 2 weeks before. They gave me some instructions. Put these eye drops in. Make sure your eyes aren't dry. Yes, your cornea and everything is good. Everything is thick enough. We can do the surgery. I went in and they had much more sophisticated equipment there than what they had at my optometrist's office. They double checked everything, made sure it was good. Then took me in, they discussed payment plans and stuff like that. The biggest annoyance I had there was they wanted to sell a financing package. If you didn't want to pay it all up front, the financing package was basically signing up for a Wells Fargo credit card. And from my days in real estate, I know that Wells Fargo Bank, well, any bank can be a pain, but Wells Fargo initiated more loans that never got closed than any other bank. So I was not interested in really dealing with them. However, if you do use your own credit card, they basically give you the cash discount, which is $500 less than if you sign up for their credit card and do the financing option there. So I definitely feel that was the best method. So basically I paid $4,500 up front with credit card to get the best price available. The laser eye centers are the folks that did it. They go with this awesome TLC logo. They are a nationwide company. Did a lot of research on them before I did this, and I wish I really had this video. It wasn't a painless procedure. The procedure, I went back in, I got out about 11:45, 12 o'clock. I had to be back at 1:30. I grabbed some lunch, went back in for the procedure. Met the doctor for 5 minutes. They require you to take a Valium. It helps to relax your eyeballs, the muscles in them, so that you don't tense up and anything twitch without you wanting to do it. They asked how afraid I was on a scale of 1 to 10, and after wearing contacts for years, I can rub my own eyes. I'm not afraid of anything that's getting in my eye, poking my eye. So I told him pretty much 0. So he gave me the minimum dosage. The only thing I even felt though is I felt a little sleepy watching the boring HGTV ads in the time waiting for the surgery. I was in the waiting room for about an hour. The surgery itself took 10 to 15 minutes. It was uncomfortable. The surgery itself, you're laying on a table, you got somebody, basically clamps holding your eye open. You'll see other YouTube videos of the actual surgery. It doesn't feel nearly as gruesome as it looks. Basically, you just stare at a little red dot for about 6 to 8 minutes per eye while they do stuff to you. Having watched that video and knowing what they were doing, it was a little creepy, but it didn't really bother me that much. Some of the other folks that got out of there ahead of me had much more Valium than I did, and they were very loopy. I had both eyes done, one right after the other, so there was like 2 minutes between the procedures. Doctor was very professional, very smooth. I don't feel that there was any pain that he could have caused or changed. My biggest surprise was my burning eyeball smells much like burning hair. After the surgery, I felt fine. Of course, they gave me numbing eye drops to do this. So an hour or so later, my eyes felt a little scratchy and tired. They gave me a prescription for Percocet and a few different eye drops. Of course, I had a ride. I slept part of the 2.5-hour drive back, just basically resting my eyes. I knew what was coming, so I got some audiobooks and planned to do nothing that required me to see much for the next few days. As for pain, I never got a lot of pain. There were a couple of times where it felt there was something in my eye, but there wasn't. They prescribed me eye drops. I picked those up on the way home, put them in as prescribed, and it felt great. The biggest feeling that I think anybody would get is the fact that your eyes are, your eyes were literally clamped open, so there is bruising and swelling around your eyes from that. But beyond that, there wasn't a lot of pain other than like you'd stared at something for a long time, because you did keep your eye open and stare at a little blinking light for about 5 minutes, and that's kind of stressful for your eyes. Post-surgery, everything really went smooth. I had the checkup the next day. I had a checkup a few days after that. The third day was the worst for me, because you kind of get a little stir crazy and you want to do things, but your eyes are still kind of bruised, I guess, around them. So once I got through that, I did have a couple itching spells on that day. I never really took their pain medications. I took a couple ibuprofen the night of and the morning after, but beyond the ibuprofen, I really didn't need any pain medication. The eye drops they prescribed to me, one was not covered by my health insurance, and it was either it wasn't covered or it wasn't covered much. It was $172. So that was kind of a surprise expense. And what do you do after you've just paid for a surgery, had the surgery, and now the pharmacy is holding you at ransom? So I definitely had to pay that. I have not gotten reimbursed for that yet and have not been contacted back by my insurance company. I did question that, but have not gotten any good answers yet. Today is January the 29th, 30th. So we're about a month and 3/4 through where anything I really felt I had problems. My vision varied very much for the first week. You'd be like 2 or 3 days in, I woke up and I could read the reflex optive, the refresh optive box clear across the room. That was something I never could see since I was like 12 years old. And I thought, wow, that's cool. I blinked a couple of times, closed my eyes, opened my eyes and smiled to read it again, and I couldn't even see the box. Just vast changes in your vision. That only lasted for about 6 or 7 days. I'm still getting little changes. Like if I'm reading text and I blink a couple of times or I change my focus, it'll be kind of hard to get that focus back. They said that could continue up to 6 months, but for the most part, I am better than 20/20 vision. They told me I had 20/20 vision, but I could read the 20/15 line clearly. They just didn't ask me to at my last eye exam. I could read the smallest thing on the up close. So I'm very, very pleased with the surgery. The treatment I got from the laser eye centers was absolutely awesome. I mean, they were great coming in, going through. They called me a couple of days after to make sure everything was okay. Overall, I think it was awesome. But I could not get any coverage through my insurance company. And I find it strange that countries such as Russia and Canada, the health insurance pays for most of those. It's far cheaper than buying glasses. It's far less hassle than messing with contact lenses. They have a lifetime warranty on it. The biggest drawback I see to this is you have a little bit of dry eyes. By that, I mean, it's been almost 2 months, I guess you would say, since the surgery. It's been a little over 2 months since I started taking the drops. And I need drops some days every hour, most days about 3 to 4 times a day. I'm going to do another video coming up, and I'll post a link below and try to embed a link comparing the different eye drops that I've tried over the past few days, or a couple of months actually. So far, I have absolutely no regrets. I love it. I'd recommend it to anybody. I still want to pick up glasses whenever I leave the house, because I used to never leave the house without my glasses on. And Now I have to pick up sunglasses because with the PRK, unlike the Lasik, basically I have completely new eyes. So they're like baby's eyes. You want to be very careful with exposure to sunlight. You're still a little sensitive to light. Some people have said this has happened for years. For me, probably just a few months. If you have any questions, please post them below or feel free to ask. And thanks for watching.